Hey, I was bragging about this on the pod yesterday. We recorded a really cool episode, but people are connecting with each other in the chat, making friends, all that good stuff. So let's keep that going. If y'all are here for the first time, or like Christy has been here before, for instance, share your LinkedIn profile so y'all can connect and learn from each other. I think it'd be great. Rhino put ours up there, and we'll have some other links going up as we get through the episode. But anyway, appreciate everybody being patient with us. We're going to give everybody like maybe another minute or so to get going. You know, we've been on this. We had the Murads on for 2 weeks in a row. Amazing. And we're going to talk about auction success. It's kind of, another in that same kind of vein, because we're getting so many questions and so much feedback about different auction formats, and the silent auction and the live auction and the revenue enhancers and the this, and we have golf prizes and all that stuff. This is not going to be a self-promotion webinar, but we're going to talk about, we're going to use our items as examples and how we see it. We're in, thousands of events over time, and we see how much money folks are raising. And so we're going to share some different case studies and stuff like that. But just a good topic. The timing's excellent. A lot of folks have events coming up, or you're planning a spring event right now as well. So you want to get us kicked off?
Trevor, I think we skipped, we just got right into it. And so let me just back up. And for those of you who have never been here before, I'm Sandy Hilsenrath. I am on the advancement team here at HGA. This is Trevor, one of our co-founders. Jason was supposed to be with us. He couldn't make it today, so we miss him. And I haven't been on a webinar with the two of you in, I feel like it's been months. We've had so many great guests come on. That we'll have
to make that happen.
I miss you guys.
But
anyway, we're here to talk about revenue enhancers and how to make the most of them. And so HGA Fundraising here, helping nonprofits raise money with the most profitable auction items in fundraising. So let's talk about it. Let's start with our favorite.
It's
What's your favorite, Trev?
The easiest way that I know how to raise more money at your next event is the golden ticket. And we want to talk about some experience that we have with our clients using the golden ticket with ours, and also want to give you some examples on how you can create a golden ticket. You don't even have to use ours. We have a very turnkey solution, obviously. Ryan, throw a link up there if you don't mind, just so folks can see if they like about the golden ticket, for instance. But it's originally the strategy being this, and we can absolutely color outside the lines a little bit too, but the strategy being sell 100 tickets for $100, raise $10,000 at your next event. Now, when I say we can color outside the lines a little bit, we start with this idea and this premise of sell 100 tickets for $100 for folks that maybe haven't done it before, okay? And you can even sell tickets for $75 or $50 if you're very, very small and really just kind of entering into the space with these kinds of revenue enhancers. Another, on the other side of that spectrum too, though, is the idea that you can offer items, price points more than $100, and also offer more tickets. So you got a big event, you got 500 people, you got an auction site, you're opening up 30 days in advance, and you got 5,000 people in your database that are getting eyeballs on it. Sure, absolutely, I could see selling more than 100 tickets. So, we'll leave that up to you. Just realize that it can be customized, right? With the idea. I even a dear friend of ours, Chris Hensley, who's been on the pod and the webinars, talks about every, bidding opportunity does not have to end in zero. So he'll be like,
oh, I love that.
It's like, okay, 100, it's our 47th anniversary or our 47th gala. So we'll sell tickets instead of $100. We'll sell tickets for $147. Let's just say we sell, 100 of them. Now we're raising another $4,700 net. I hope that makes sense, everybody. So,
here's the other thing too, Trevor,
go ahead.
that you can do, if you're going with the $100 price point, you can do 1 at 100, 3 at 200, right? To push people.
Totally. Yeah, exactly.
1 for 50, 3 for 100, to get them to go to that next level and encourage them to give at the higher levels. So,
no question. Rhino put up a podcast that we just did with a really good friend of ours, Brittany Pilcher from Quest Inc. And they're out of Orlando, Florida. And they do an amazing job in general. They have a 2-day fundraiser over 2 days, hundreds of people, and they had never used the golden ticket before. So there's a link to the episode. It's really awesome. It's like 20 minutes. Brittany's a gem. She's amazing and did such a great job with the pod. All she did was come on and share their experience. And I want Sandy, I want you to share some case studies with some of the clients that you're working with too, as well. A couple things that I was able to deduce from their experience. They sold out tickets in 72 hours. That was amazing. The reason why is because they gave folks the opportunity to buy tickets before the event even started. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a big believer in giving folks the opportunity to buy tickets 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance. Yes. I don't think there's any harm in doing that if you have good software, right, that can support that. Yeah. It gets money in the door pre-event. It gives folks that aren't coming to your event in person the opportunity to give and enter to win, something really cool, like, once again, a golden ticket prize, and we'll get into the mechanics of that. One really cool takeaway, once again, though, from our episode with Brittany using the golden ticket was, she's like, okay, we sold 100 tickets. I think that we could sell more tickets next year. Fantastic. Right. I think that we had such a crazy good response, and you get lost in the data from your events, and then you can make plans and strategize for your next one. She said, I think we could do multiple price points. We could have a $100 price point and a $250 price point. Different prices. And you're not pulling, you're not robbing either one by having those different opportunities. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any experience with that, Sandy? Talk about that.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, people do different price raffles for different prizes. You just have to have something that is valuable, right? And to make it to make the ticket price, one, it has to be attainable, right? You have to have the crowd for it. But two, yeah, just give them an elevated experience at the $250 level or whatever it is. Or if you're doing a $25 tricky tray, well, maybe then you have a golden ticket at 100 or, what have you. So yeah, definitely different ways you can do it.
People like different price points. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about pre-selling. I mean, I had a private school go in to their ballroom sold out, and like you said, someone sold out in 72 hours. Well, they opened it up a couple weeks beforehand. And how did they do it? They engaged their committee. They engaged the school principal was selling tickets. And so they went in and I had a conversation with her and I said, well, okay, so we sold 100. What are we going to do next year? Are we going to sell 150? What's the plan for next year? Or then do we have something at a different price point because it was going like hotcakes. And so, do we, I think, and Trevor, you can tell me your thoughts on this, but a 1 in 100 chance. So, the idea is that, if you limit it at 100, it's a 1 in 100 chance, right? And so those are pretty good odds. But in a donor's mind, is there a difference between 1 in 100 and 1 in 150? I mean, it's not like the lottery where you have 1 in a million chance, it's still, and then you can raise another $5,000 if you sell those extra 50 tickets.
I'm becoming more of a fan of offering more than 100 tickets, depending on your event. Every event has its own uniqueness, right? And it was our friend Dean Crownover was like, no, make it unlimited. So yeah. And I'm like I said, I'm becoming more of a believer in that, depending upon your event, the size of the crowd, what your reach is pre-event with the auction site, all that good stuff. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I want to get into the framework and the mechanics of the actual golden ticket prize a little bit and give some examples. Mm-hmm. And also we have some questions coming in. Excellent. Hey, don't wait with questions, y'all. Go ahead, hit us with as many as you like. I see a lot of folks talking about where they're from and all that good stuff and who they represent. Do us a favor. Hang your LinkedIn profile in there as well, if you don't mind, with the description of where you're from and the organization that you're raising money for, if you don't mind. And let's see here. Okay. Alex, great question. Alexander, thank you so much. I cannot give legal advice. I will say this, and Sandy can speak to this as well from her experience with raising money with JDRF for 18 years and now as well being a fundraiser with us. It depends on your state's law, raffle law. Okay. What I have found is that it's not overly tedious to acquire these licenses that are required, okay, depending on the state that you're in. So I cannot give you legal advice, unfortunately, Alexandra. However, I do know we would tell you if they weren't being used and folks were not attaining these licenses, we would probably not be talking about the golden ticket and how easy it is to use. So we can talk off air if you like. You can send me a DM in LinkedIn and we can talk about it and what have you. But those parameters, if you will, about the gaming licenses, quote unquote. I'm just using a
Mhm.
loose moniker with that. It
Yep.
just depends on state by state. Okay,
Yeah,
so
totally.
yeah,
New
yeah,
Jersey, New Jersey's pretty strict. There's different licenses for on-premise raffles and off-premise. So if you are going to sell it off-premise, you have to have something different.
yeah.
And we can't sell online here.
Hmm.
So, but we had a very successful, when I was running a gala, we had a very successful golden ticket. We used to sell $500 tickets.
Right.
And so, we raised over $30,000 with our golden ticket. But there's workarounds, right?
Yeah.
Where you can't sell it online, you can still take orders over the phone. Or I'm going back a few years, but
Sure.
that's the
Sure.
way we did it, right? We took reservations for a ticket. Payment was done, via phone or what have you. But there's definitely workarounds. There's also sweepstakes that we can talk about. But yeah, we can
Yep.
definitely reach out to us, please, and we'll talk you through some options on that. But I
Yep.
know in Texas you can sell them online, no problem,
Yep.
right? So it really comes down to your state. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, appreciate that. Wish we could give you a more direct answer once again with regard to the states and different
Yeah.
rules. And another thing I also noticed, those are very fluid rules. They change all the time, so it behooves one to stay up to date with those things. So that being said, and if you have some kind of counsel, some founders that we know always have counsel that they can ask these kind of questions, like on a board or a committee or a friend when they
Sure.
start organizations in general. So hopefully
Yeah.
you have those kinds of resources. I want to back up just a little bit. Oh, cool. Yeah, Melissa, in California, our workaround is calling it an opportunity drawing. I love
Yeah,
that.
because you're not allowed to call it a raffle, right?
Yeah,
That's the one part
totally,
about
totally.
California. Yeah.
No, and so yeah, a lot of feedback there. So like I said, that's if it was an issue and when we weren't seeing as many golden tickets being utilized, we would tell you. So
Mhm.
there's obviously these things where you can get like 72-hour licenses, 24-hour licenses, an annual license, all those things is what
Yeah.
I've seen. So
Yeah.
I want to get
Here's
back to the golden ticket and
Mhm.
just for instance, Ryan put up a link with our golden ticket, I believe, in the chat as well. And just giving you an example, once again, a framework. We have a golden ticket where it's very turnkey, sell 100 tickets for $100, raise $10,000, and the winner gets a choice of 4 different destinations.
Mhm.
We love that. I love
Wide appeal.
customizing it. I love giving folks options. I love having, in this one, we give folks a domestic option, a domestic experience, a once in a lifetime European experience, and a beach experience, for
Mhm.
instance. Okay. So I think that's really, really awesome. I think folks love options. I think gets everyone excited.
And it
And
has broad appeal, right? I
no
mean,
question.
you need your prize, whatever it is, needs to have broad appeal. And so that, just you're touching all kinds of, any demographic that you have in your room and
Yeah.
outside of your room. Trevor, we didn't talk about running a golden ticket outside of an event, because you can do that.
You mean
you know,
online?
the golden ticket. Well, I'm saying the golden ticket between your gala and your golf tournament, or during the summer when things are slower for you. Great time. Or
Absolutely.
during a month where it's an awareness month for your
I
cause.
I agree with all those things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a really clever way to get an extra $10,000 in the door, for instance, if you just keep using the same strategy of selling 100 tickets for $100. And then also with the golden ticket, I think it's something we were just talking yesterday, as a matter of fact, internally about the idea of, what a great opportunity to get folks to give at the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
as
Yeah.
well, right? When maybe things, you got Giving Tuesday, you got
Giving
the end of the year
Tuesday.
push, another great differentiator. So many folks are asking, so many folks give because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the year, because organizations do a great job of asking. It's not tax related, actually. And getting folks to give at that $100 for instance level and make it really, really easy, and then giving them an incentive to do so, I think is a really, really sound strategy that could be utilized at the end of the year. So super easy to stand up. I want to talk about an example as well where a golden ticket is a really good idea for a donated item. We talk about jewelry all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a couple of weeks ago when we had the Murads on, we were talking about like a golden ticket type, fill the purse or what have you,
Right.
jewelry piece where a jewelry item could be worth $8,000, but it's never going to get $8,000 in your live auction or your silent auction. So utilizing donated items like that as golden ticket opportunities or drawing opportunities like that, using that strategy, I think is underappreciated. We had a classic example where I was a youth in my fundraising journey, and a gal came on the webinar, and Jason and I were on, and she said, "Hey, I have these George Strait tickets. What is the best use for the George Strait tickets that were donated to me? It's 2 tickets. I was going to pair it with a hotel and this and that." And I said, I just shouted out live auction. Oh my gosh, it sounds like a great live auction.
Right.
And Jason said, well,
Big
hold
prize.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome,
That's where
right?
it goes.
Yeah, and it's a donated piece and all that. And Jason said, well, what's the most anything ever got in your live auction? She said like $3,500, $4,000. He said, nah, I think it should be a golden ticket. She sold 200 tickets for $200 a piece and raised $40,000 with these George Strait tickets. And it was massive, big hugs, all that stuff. Got some lovely messages afterwards because Jason corrected me. And it was just, once again, a great use of a donated item like these George Strait tickets, for instance. So if you have anything like that you could use for a golden ticket opportunity, hats off to you. Do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what we talk to a lot when we spend time with our nonprofits, is really, where does it make most sense, right? It's the strategy behind it. I always say, and in the case of our travel experiences, they're tools, right? Mm-hmm. But where do they fit best in your event? And so that's the same thing with a donated item. I had a week in Myrtle Beach in a condo, right, in my own auction, and we tried it a couple of years in the silent auction. We tried it in the live auction, and I said to her, she was, the donor was like, oh, well, it's not raising as much as I think it's worth. And I said, why don't we do it at the golf tournament as a raffle? Let's try it there, and it really is where it makes most sense and where it's going to raise the most money, because that's
not even a question. About. Absolutely. Yeah. And you mentioned an interesting thing about the donor as well. Have that conversation. Just be like, hey, listen, because of course folks go, oh, I want to see it in the live or what have you. It's like, well, have a real clear strategy that you can explain to donors, because we understand these conversations and these relationships are sensitive at times. But make sure that you're just very, very deliberate and intentional with how you tell folks you're going to be using these donations, for instance, or these homes or what have you, and they'll understand. Long story short. So,
what was the term that Lewis used? The almost live, right? A section we used to call it the super silent. We used to call it the super silent at my event. But something that may not go as well in your live auction, make a category, make it the almost live, where the value is there, but it didn't quite make it into it, especially if you're trying to minimize your live auction and have fewer, we see that a lot. That's a trend, having fewer and fewer live auction items. You can always put that into a super silent or a almost live.
That sounds like a perfect segue into the vacation station.
Yeah.
It sounds like you did that on purpose.
I didn't even mean to set that up.
one thing I want to talk about, because we're going to talk about vacation station live auction, passing out a live auction item, and then also some golf prizes, all before we wrap here today. Different revenue and streams that you can use, and different examples at your next auction. One thing I want to say, and it I think it gets passed over sometimes. Going back to the episode that we did, a podcast we did with our friend Brittany about the golden ticket specifically, where she shared exactly how they did it and the outcome. She said, we identified a bunch of new givers at the $100 level with the golden ticket. And I don't think that could be understated. She said, what if there's a good chance that you don't know 40% of them? You have 40, for instance, you sell 100 tickets, you have 40 new people that give at the $100 level that you have never met before. Or maybe they've never been to your event before, things along those lines. So I think that's definitely something. And we didn't even talk about the sponsorship piece or underwriting piece, but we can get to that on a different episode. And we've spoken about how these items can be underwritten and sponsored. The golden ticket opportunity presented by company XYZ and the different corporate sponsorship.
And make some money on the sponsorship too.
Not even a question. So that's huge. That part. But you said super silent, almost live. We're going to talk about the silent auction, and we're big believers in the silent auction because we're seeing the feedback and the data that suggests that the silent auction is not dead. It just needs to be refreshed. We're not telling you not to have your silent auction anymore, or not to have as many items as you've always gotten. If that tickles you, fantastic, go do it. Right? There's all sorts of strategies and calculations about how many silent auction items are perfect for your event based on how many people and how many wallets you have in buying units in the room, so to speak. But we're big believers in the silent auction for so many reasons, beyond just the fundraising component night of, and we've branded our silent auction opportunity as a vacation station.
Mm-hmm.
And
Special
it's
category.
its own little breathing, living, breathing entity. Sandy, talk about the vacation station if you like,
Sure.
and what that means, how many items it means, and different, like I said, how to set it up on tables and all that good stuff.
Right. And so, super easy, right? We try to keep everything easy, and we give you everything you need. So, what we recommend for a vacation station, which is a special part of your silent auction, a category you set up a table with trips. And so we recommend at least 6 trips, no more than 8. You want to keep it small, especially, you have to also base it on the amount of items that you have overall also. But the idea is that you start your bidding 20 to 25% over the cost of the trip, right? And each trip, depending on what the experience is, has a designated cost. Start your bidding 20 to 25% over that, and you put it out there. If it doesn't get bid on, well, that's right. You owe nothing.
There's no exposure.
It's just super easy. I've had a lot of conversations lately where people are like, I don't even want to have, my committee wants to have an auction, but I don't want to have it. It's a lot of work. I come from a place where I had 150 silent auction items and I mean, it was successful. It was great, for the size event we had, but it is a lot of work. I will say, I wish I had Chat GPT, because I used to write 150 descriptions, and life would be so much easier now. But it's a lot of work. And so this is one way to kind of unburden yourself of that and make it really easy, and really have something that everyone wants experiences, right? People are getting more and more away from things, and want experiences. So
I'm all about CPG, really cool, like the Yeti cooler, but I'm really about like filling it up with cool stuff, and the barbecue and the smoker, but filling it up with cool stuff, like bundling things together, kind of like
to increase the value,
putting more together so you have less items, so there's less work, because the people power and the resources that it takes to do 150 items and the descriptions and all these things. So we came up with this vacation station strategy, or I should say Jason did, and we're really fine-tuning it over time. People want, once again, like Sandy said, experiences. They don't want to bid on junk. We're seeing that, folks can have things delivered to their front door in a heartbeat, all those things.
True.
The advent of Amazon and all these, online shopping and what have you. That's not to say that, once again, like an Amazon gift card wouldn't be cool if you're pairing it with other things. So back to what you said too, though, I really love the idea of just 25%, for instance, 25% above the reserve price. Let's just say you have like a $2,000 item, like a Tuscany trip, for instance, one of our Tuscany trips, it's $2,000. We're suggesting that you open the bid at $2,500. So the minute you get a bid, you're in the money. If you get no bids, you're out nothing. There's no exposure.
Right.
So that's what we love about the silent. You said almost live. I love the idea of testing these items in the silent to see what could fit the bill for the live, and we'll segue into the live here in a few, but what could fit the bill for the live in the future as a testing ground, right?
Right.
Another great piece with the vacation station is that just the advertising. I mean, you see it on your phone, folks that aren't even going to be, you got it loaded up on your auction site. Folks that aren't even in the event can see it and bid on these opportunities. If they're not even in attendance, for instance, you could, you have an item that has a reserve price that could be sold multiple times. You can sell it multiple times in the silent or in the vacation station. So many cool pieces. And once again, very, very low lift. No, super, super easy.
Making it easy.
And also, another thing, just the promotional piece, the advertising piece pre-event, like look at these, when you're selling tickets and you're 30 days out, but you've got, you're starting to give folks the idea of what you're going to have in your event. You put up a really great destination, for instance, a really great experience. Folks are going to get excited and motivated, and we call it figuratively packing their bags before they even come.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're imagining themselves on the beach. They're imagining, absolutely. Oh my gosh, Tuscany. Oh, I can, wine tasting in Tuscany. That sounds right down my alley.
And once again, super low lift, super low exposure if things don't sell. What we're finding, and the data that we had was every one of our auction items that was in an event for the first 2 quarters of this year, the average return was $940 net.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're opening the bid at $500, $1,000 above the reserve price for an item like the Tuscany trip or a beach destination, for instance, we're not guaranteeing that, but the odds are, just based on the proclivity that folks have to bid, to give, and to travel and take these experiences, that you could add 6-8 items to your vacation station, to your silent auction, for instance, and raise another $6,000 to $8,000
Right.
net. And we're not even talking about, speaking to the underbidders or backup bidders as
Mm-hmm.
well. So really
Something,
cool idea.
yeah,
Go ahead.
something else we like to do too is kind of test the waters, right? Because if you don't get a bid, you don't owe anything. Well, let's try to throw a curveball into the auction and try something that's a little bit higher in value and see if you get any bites. Because, Jason always tells a story about the Mykonos trip that went for $15,000 in a silent auction,
Yeah.
would probably not have sold because in a live auction, because you didn't have really that event didn't really have the crowd, or that at least they didn't think they had the crowd.
Yeah.
And so they put it in there just kind of as a, let's see what happens. And it sold for $15,000 in the silent auction.
Yeah. Do a test. That's what we think. Just test
Yeah.
these things. The data will prove it to you. I'm such a huge believer in the vacation station / silent auction. You throw in an item that sells for $3,000, for instance, you just identified a potential new mid-level donor. How long do you have to work to identify a $3,000 level donor?
Right.
If you're in a development role,
Here's the years.
massive,
It's a long game.
massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's just say you have an item and you got multiple bids from multiple people. And let's say you got a $3,300 bid, a $3,200 bid, a $3,100 bid.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have 3 different people that are willing to give you $3,000 or more.
Right.
What if you've never met them before?
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about offering items that have a reserve price like ours that can be sold multiple times. Reach out to those folks night of, if you can, or day of, or obviously before you close your event out, and offer them the item at their last bid amount. Meet them where they're at. I think there's so much opportunity there that we're just underutilizing with the vacation station silent auction idea. Super silent, almost live, all these
Whatever
things.
you call it.
Every person that I say vacation station to recently that has never heard of the idea before or heard our branding on it has said, "Oh my gosh, that's someone just said, oh, that's cute."
Yeah,
right. So it's
that's
like,
usually what I say to people. I'm like, well,
really
it's cutesy
cute.
and it rhymes.
I like that.
Catchy.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you can call it whatever
listen,
you want, but yeah,
brand it. People love branding. You could call it, whatever you want. You could call it the company ABC vacation station. So there's underwriting and sponsorship potential as well.
Right.
And it's different. A lot of the folks that are coming to your events are going to other events as well. I'm not saying they're comparing other events to yours, but maybe they are. Human nature might dictate that. Be different. Have something different and test. Differentiation is stronger than competition if you're competing with other
you say that
events.
Yeah.
In your neck of the woods. So I think that's something that could be really, really impactful at your next event. And we're happy to talk about it. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, really quick before we move on to anything else, is that we were talking about combining, right? I had somebody tell me the other day, she said, I feel like our silent auction is turning into a garage sale. And it's just our committee members want to, they want to be engaged. They want to contribute. But, sometimes the items are not helping you in elevating your event. And so I always say when you go to them, 1, go with a wish list, right? 2, set a threshold. We want every one of our packages to be valued at, say, $250 and above, really, whatever that number is for you. And you can combine, you can combine a gift certificate for here and a bottle of wine from there if it's a BYOB, and make a nice package, but keep it at a value that you are comfortable with and that elevates your event. And that really helps.
Absolutely. I think it's awesome
to get rid of that garage sale feeling.
Yeah. Hey, once again, if you enjoy having 150 items in your silent auction, that's fine. We're not telling you not to do that. We know a lot of events that have that many items and more that are really, really successful. They're like, no, we're never going to leave. The point is, people, if you remove a silent auction, a lot of folks are going to go like, hey, where was the silent auction? That's fun. I
Yeah. Oh,
enjoyed
yeah.
that, or what have you, or
Yeah.
I don't bid in the live, that kind of thing. So just trying to have the conversation once again about that kind of stuff. And we're happy to have it with you. I want to
Mhm.
segue into the live auction. And out of all the folks here, how many, if you put in the chat, if you don't mind, how many are planning a live auction right now? Just had one, thinking about it, all that good stuff. Once again, every event's unique. You don't have to have
Mhm.
one. If you're considering it, fine, all that good stuff. But what we're seeing with the live auction is obviously,
I'm very
oh,
pleased.
cool. Yeah, right on,
Mhm.
Becky. Awesome. We're seeing, okay, less is more.
Yes. Mhm.
Possibly 6, 8 live auction items is very, very common. Hey, if you crush it and you have 20, fantastic. Okay, that's on. I love it. Okay,
Right.
cool.
Right. I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
definitely worked with it. Yep. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Perfect.
And
So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And so we're big believers in, we love experiences. We love the chef experience. We love the donated homes, things of that nature, all that good stuff.
Mhm.
We're very pro donation.
Yep.
We're
Absolutely.
seeing live auction items sell at a record rate, okay? And the desire that live auction bidders have for trips and experiences in general, whether they're local or not, that are absolutely hitting it out of the park. Once again, I mean, I hope it doesn't sound too unpopular, but like less is more. So
Hmm.
being really, really deliberate about how you plan your live auction. You only have, this is part of the attention span of folks and your timeline, and we can kind of, speak about that as well.
Keep it
A
condensed.
live auction
Mhm.
takes about 3.5 minutes per item. So
Yep.
we really want to
Mhm.
maximize that giving potential of the live auction and make sure we're very, very deliberate and we understand what folks want. We
Yes.
give folks what they want. That's the idea. And yeah, you have some experience with
I
live
like,
auctions. Yeah,
yes, and I
talk
like
about it.
to, sure. And so when you're selecting your live auction items, it was always helpful to talk to bidders, even if this could be, and it should be right after your last event, right? But even if you miss that window, pick up the phone and call people that have attended your event last year or the year before, and say, hey, listen, we're getting ready, we're trying to pick our live auction items, and we're going to only have 5. What would you like to see? And
Hmm.
those are the people who are going to come into your room and bid. Or then those who are hosting a table, and they are in communication with their guests. I always had, and she happened to be my chair, my committee chair, but she was also one of the biggest bidders in the room. And so it was always, and in picking a trip, right, that I was going to, where do you want to go this year?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go? What's your table going to bid on this year? And so we would have that conversation. But I love to pick up the phone and say, what, thank you so much for bidding in our live auction. What would you like to see this year? Where would you like to go? What type of, Taylor Swift guitar or what have you? What is it? What's that item that you're looking for this year? And
Yeah.
then cater to that. I mean, I just had somebody who was looking for a very specific event, but experience. They base a live auction item, and listen, I'm all for catering, but I also want to make sure that people have broad appeal, right? And
Mm,
so, but they were looking for something very specific because they had people in the audience who shop at their event, and so
mm.
they kind of dictate, that couple dictates, what the trip is going to be because they want to bid on it. So, but you also want to cater to a larger audience too, and so you want to find something that is going to, whether it's Iceland or something, it depends on what type of audience you have, right? Do you have an outdoorsy? But really ask for that feedback, because they're going to be your big bidders in the room.
No question. I think once again, I mean, it sounds simple, but giving folks what they want.
Yeah.
Right? I think,
Yeah.
it's like this is where the proclivity lies as far as different destinations and experiences and what have you. And I'm a big believer in promoting what's going to be in the live auction pre-event.
Oh,
What are your
100%.
thoughts about that? We have the famous
100%.
a prepared bidder is a higher bidder. I love
Yes.
that.
Hmm.
I'm cool with surprises if it makes sense. I totally am if it's strategic and it makes sense. But I'm a big believer in showing, having a live auction showcase of what's going to be at the event 30 days, 3 weeks before the event even takes place. So once again, folks can figuratively start packing their bags. right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And on that note too, going back to the silent auction, you should be opening up your silent auction before the event too. So let's just make that,
Yeah.
let's make sure we make that point too. And if you're using bidding software and that's how you're going to do that, right? It's going to make that very easy to open up and start the bidding beforehand. Now the live auction should also be previewed on your bidding software. So wherever you're going to house and have your bidding software happening for your silent auction, that's where you want to preview that. We also used to have what do we call it? Teaser Tuesdays. Every Tuesday leading up to we used to tease out 2 or 3 of our items.
Yep.
And sometimes they were live, sometimes they were silent, but we would get people excited.
Yeah.
And then you can also add that to, you can put out your silent auction or your auction in your software and
Yeah.
put it out there and then add to it, right? I used to like to hold back specific items so that during that week leading up to the event, I would, hey, guess what? Just added, and you're announcing it.
Yep.
And so you'll see if you have software, you'll see the spike in activity on your page.
I think it's another, very clever marketing tool, of course. As mentioned, we go so far with our items. We have imagery, we have video that you can put on social platforms, on your auction site, all that stuff, super turnkey there. I'm a big believer in the live auction, in having a video play before the auctioneer. Just to get folks an understanding of what they're bidding on and get them excited. I think people respond obviously very, very heavily to video these days. That's not going to change anytime soon. So having things like that to describe the items, our big point is, and I've been saying this for a very long time, folks are going to travel. They're going to do it on booking.com, Airbnb, VRBO. We love the idea of offering trips and experiences. We famously say folks are they're utilizing their giving budget and their travel budget simultaneously.
Sure.
In these scenarios. They're going to go to these destinations. We would like to see them buy the destinations from you. That's the big point, right? So absolutely. Doing your due diligence, making sure you have what folks want at your event is massive. And we love the idea of having an item, in your event that you can sell multiple times in 3 minutes and raise, $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 with one item. We can talk about that.
Let's dive into that. Let's dive into that one.
Think about all this branded stuff. The vacation station. We branded this really, really cool opportunity with our best-selling all-inclusive item, and we call it the Caribbean Craze. And we've had tremendous years of data with the Caribbean Craze, where it's built to sell $1,000 over the reserve price to multiple bidders. And what's so cool is the data that we get from event after event. And hey, we've seen it sell for 20 times. We've seen it sell 10 times, but the idea being having something like this with a reserve price of say $1,500 that, to destinations that folks are already going to, household names, for instance, like the Caribbean, Cancun, Riviera Maya. We have ours is an option to Cancun, Riviera Maya, or Punta Cana in the DR. And it's an all-inclusive stay for 2 people, turnkey. Folks have 24 months to book it, the better part of 3 years to take the trip. And it is built to sell multiple times in the live auction.
Quickly.
Yes.
Right.
And, we've had countless, clients, partners, friends. Amy Myers, has come on the show 10 times. And it is, Shelley, and it is a fixed price item, Shelley asked. It's a fixed price item with a reserve price of $1,495. And it's, once again, built to sell for $1,000 over the reserve price 6 to 8 times to multiple bidders, obviously, in the room. It can be done, once again, in 3 minutes. I was finishing a statement about Amy Myers. She says, no matter what, and she works, she does events for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, one of the most prolific fundraisers we've ever met. She said, I have to have at least one of these items in my live auction, no matter what, because I can sell, once again, I cannot miss the opportunity to sell an item this many times, raise that much money in 3 minutes or less. Sure. So Ryan will put up a link to the Caribbean all-inclusive trip just so you can get your eyes on it. And
just for clarification too, so the Caribbean Craze that's a strategy. I mean, the item is available for traditional fundraising, and you can do it that way too. But we like the idea of the fixed price because it goes just so quickly and you sell so many of them.
Yep.
but it can be used in other ways as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that just, once again, it just it's the number one trip that we have year after year after year. It's like I said, it's very turnkey. All meals, drinks, gratuities are included, and non-motorized activities. It's super fun. These are places that folks are going no matter what, with their families, with their spouse. So it's just a very, very very great idea to add to your next live auction. Andrew had a question, an example of the same item selling 3 times. Absolutely. So an item selling 3 times or more, for instance, in a live auction would just be simply, you have an item, and let's just say it has a reserve price of that $1,500, and the bidding, a traditional live auctioneer or a fundraising auctioneer would possibly take the bidding up above that point that we want to be at with the $2,500, where you're netting $1,000 every time you sell it. And let's just say, for instance, the bidding goes up to 3,000 and there's only one bid paddle in the air. Okay. But at $2,500, the auctioneer recognizes there were 8 bidding paddles in the air. An auctioneer will stop, back down, and pass out the Caribbean craze, for instance, or create the craze, and pass out the Caribbean all-inclusive item 6 to 8 times based on the interest at the $2,500 level.
Yeah.
So
now you're raising 6,000 to 8,000 rather than the 1,500 that you could have if you would have sold the one trip at the 3,000.
Yep, if you only sold it once. So so I hope that helps, Andrea. Andrea, feel free to go ahead and you can DM us on LinkedIn. You can email Sandy or myself, Sandy at HGAfundraising.com or Trevor at HGAfundraising.com, and we can help explain it to you in more detail as well, and to show you exactly how it's worked at so many other events. Yeah,
that strategy can work with any of the trips. You get it up to a certain point, and then you just drop down to, say your bidder up or 2 bidders down, and sell it 2 or 3 times that way. Trevor, do you want to just touch on auctioneers and the benefit of using a professional auctioneer and something like that?
Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah, we have a lot of auctioneer partners, of course. We're very pro auctioneer, and having the investment, making the investment, and having a sound fundraising auctioneer for your event, for the fund of need, for the live auction, all the above, the consultative piece. If you need any suggestions, we're happy to make them as well. If you need a good auctioneer, good auctioneers aren't cheap, and cheap auctioneers aren't good. So the idea of having a professional fundraising auctioneer is something that we are absolutely paramount about. And we can talk about the metrics there too, or of finding one and all that good stuff. One thing I do want to say, Sandy, is educating your auctioneer, if you have one, as to the idea that you're going to sell this item multiple times, and telling and communicating with your auctioneer what you hope to get out of this particular item. Yeah, I think that's actually
being on the same page going 100%. Into your ballroom. I have had people who have said, I saw the train wreck happening, and the auctioneer got it up to, I don't know, it was like $2,200 or something like that. He dropped it down, but then didn't sell multiples. And so the development person was, I saw the train wreck happening, couldn't stop it at that point. So that's why you need to go into the conversations with your auctioneer and both be on the same page. Whether it is a nod of the head that tells them go ahead and sell multiples at a certain time, or then you have the plan already. If we get to this point, then you can sell multiples, and that's or this is the least amount that we'll take for whatever it is. Just communicate, over communicate with your auctioneer and be on the same page. Very important.
While we're talking about that communication piece, and not even with the Caribbean craze, for instance, let's just say it's a donated item. I think it's really, really important to communicate. If it's a donated item, a vacation home or what have you, or the chef experience is super, super popular, but communicating with the person that donated that experience beforehand and alerting them the opportunity that you may sell it more than once. Yes. I actually think that's something that is not done enough. If you've done it, great, fantastic, keep doing it. But nonetheless, and lay that out there early and often when you're talking to folks about donated experiences, the restaurant owner, the donor, the person on the board or what have you that has the tickets or what have you, or the luxury booth at the game, right? Or at the stadium, like that kind of thing. What if we could sell this more than once? Would you be open to it? And this is what we're looking to get from it as far as revenue generation and profitability, frankly. I think that's really underutilized with donated items as
Yes,
well. So
absolutely.
communicating that with the restaurant owner, with the folks that own the skybox, all that good stuff, whatever the item XYZ might be, I think that's really, really
Mhm.
huge. So
And
definitely
there
do
may be
that.
a threshold too that you have to hit for that donor to be okay with you utilizing it again. Right.
Yes,
And,
yes.
so that conversation might sound like, well, if we get this up to $3,000, would you mind if we, went ahead and did it again? And, and if they're in their room, even better, you can make a show out of it. Right. I
No
mean, the
question.
auctioneer, it's so much fun. The auctioneer can go over and say, you know, Joe, we have 2 people who are dying to come to your restaurant with 10 of their
Yep.
friends and have a cocktail party. Would you be okay with doing this twice? And, then they're the hero of the night, right? How much do you pay for a good auctioneer?
It depends. Yeah, it depends, Andrea. Um, Once again, feel free to go ahead and email us, and we can talk about that and
Yeah.
make some recommendations. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but we can tell you as well, for the right event, it's absolutely worth it. So
Yes,
the
100%.
opportunity to raise a tremendous amount of money with a great fundraising auctioneer. We know a lot of them. We're friends with a lot of them, partners with a lot of them. So happy to help no matter
Mm-hmm.
what. Anything under the sun auction, feel free to go ahead and you can email us, go to the website, talk to a fundraiser, all the above. Yeah. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to get to something that we're excited about. A question. How many of you all do a golf tournament, a charity outing, considering it? Used to do it. Maybe you're going to do it again. Sandy's got decades of experience. I think you were just at one.
I was just at one on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
So
so excited. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Um,
fun. It's a cool opportunity. We can get into that. We should probably have a whole nother webinar just talking about golf fundraising. But
yeah, Blake and I really
in the
enjoyed
chat,
ours.
if y'all don't mind, if y'all do
Mhm.
anything golf related, there's a lot going on. Yeah, great,
Maybe
Shelly.
fun.
Awesome. Oh, you did one last week. Perfect.
Oh, okay. It wasn't
Yeah,
the one I was
yeah,
at.
yeah. So we have a really cool item, and I want you to talk about it, Sandy. We have a HGA golf prizes where we created a hole-in-one prize. Now, I'm not a golfer, so I wasn't. We've been a part of plenty of golf fundraising events, but I wasn't aware at how cumbersome some of these hole-in-one prizes were. Super useful,
Mhm.
obviously raises a lot of money. So we decided to create a solution where we have a golf prize that you can use for your event. Super low lift.
Yeah.
Not, the thing of it is, I guess there's a lot of like strings attached with certain prizes, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. We can
yeah,
definitely talk. Before we jump into that, though, because we're at 52 minutes already. So can we just Ryan? Can you put up? We always do a giveaway at the end of every one of our webinars. Trevor, I'm going to ask you because I think I picked last week. What
oh,
do you want to give
cool.
away today?
The Caribbean craze.
The Caribbean craze? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
I already
Very
made up
good.
my mind. Yeah, yeah.
So if all of you, if you're new here, you may not know how this works, but if you can pick up your phones and text HGA to 73747, okay, you'll be entered into winning the Caribbean craze. All right.
Yep.
Go ahead, do that. We are going to call somebody in a few minutes live, so please put your ringers on so that we don't miss you. But while you guys are all doing that, yeah, I went to a golf tournament, and it was actually. I went to help out a friend of mine that I used to work with at JDRF, and so
Okay.
she's also at a different organization now, and was running her event. And she said, "Sandy, can you come and help out?" So it was a return to my roots, and oh, I miss it.
Yeah, you
Trevor, I'm
enjoy the
not going
golfing.
anywhere, but
No,
for a
yeah,
second there, I was like, oh wow, I really do miss being at an event.
yeah.
And so there's all kinds, and Blake and I did a session, a webinar session on how to run a golf tournament and how to raise money
Yeah.
at it. And so one of the ways is contests, right? So,
Yeah.
you have your closest to the pin, longest drive. They had one that was fun. That was a colored ball that each foursome bought a colored ball for $100. And
Mhm.
so they took turns at each different hole. Somebody different in the foursome would tee off with it. The point of it was to bring the ball back and not to lose the ball in the water, in the pond, in the rough, in the, wherever, the trees or what have you, and bring that back. So they also had a hole in one there too. And you said, you talked about strings attached. They had a Porsche. And so,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And so, people always ask, well, what do you do if somebody wins the hole in one? Don't worry, you don't have to purchase a Porsche.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's insurance that you can purchase. So in case
Yeah.
somebody does win. Now the winner on something like that, and I know that in Tim, who's on our team, he used to do I don't know, a tricked out, is that the word, the terminology?
Mm.
A really nice truck at his
Mm-hmm.
events in the past, but
Mm-hmm.
the winner had to pay like $30,000 in taxes
It's
afterwards.
in taxes and
So
fees. Yeah.
yeah,
Depending on
so
where
they
you're at.
used to
Yeah.
fundraise for that specific amount that they would need to pay
Yeah.
to help them out there. So our product, what we have and what Blake worked on to provide is a choice of 5 different trips. And
Yeah.
so that's the prize. If they hit the hole in one, there was somebody really and we already had a winner.
Isn't
What was
that
it, a few
crazy?
weeks
Yeah.
ago, Trevor, we
Yeah.
had somebody win.
Yeah, we
So
did.
yeah, and so it's inclusive of airfare as well, but they have their trip, some golf trips, some not golf trips,
Yeah.
and they have their choice of trip, and so it's just a different way to engage people, and you can charge for the whole contest. Normally, I think that's not one of the ones that they charge for, that tournaments charge for, but certainly you can. But it really elevates, everyone has a hole in one. That's kind of standard,
Okay.
where you're going to have a hole in one. And so this is an opportunity to give them an experience.
What
as
do you
well.
typically see like the opportunities sold at for something like that, and the fundraising potential with like a hole in one prize like that?
So hole contests are usually on the lower side. Now I told you that the colored ball the other day was 100, right, per foursome.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
if you're accepting cash, it's easy to do multiples of 20.
Okay.
Because it was cashless the other day when I was there on Monday. So that might be a trend that's happening where people can just
Just use
purchase
your bidder
with a
number or whatever.
QR
Yeah.
code or what
Yeah.
have you.
Yeah.
But something in multiples of 20 is really easy because people come with a wad of cash, hopefully, and they're
Yeah.
just giving out the 20s, and you have volunteers out there to collect the donations at the different holes.
Perfect.
But yeah, any questions on that? I see Ryan, thank you so much for putting the link in the chat so people can check it out.
Okay.
But it's
Awesome.
just the insurance. You're not paying for the trip. You pay for the insurance to offer the trip, and that's kind of how that works.
Awesome.
So much.
Hey, I want to make sure I'm going to call everybody, or I'm going to call everybody. Not today. I'm going to call a winner here live, and just want to make sure everybody got their text in. Text HGA to 73747, and then we'll call a winner. You're going to win a Caribbean craze that you can use at your next event. We got the text. Okay, great. Thanks, Rhino. Hey, any last questions before we wrap, everybody? Thanks, everybody, for coming. Appreciate it. Love talking about auctions. Love talking about these different ideas and creative ways that you can add to the bottom line of your revenue enhancer with the golden ticket, the vacation station. Yes, you can use that branding if you like. We haven't trademarked it or registered it yet. But also, yeah, live auction opportunities, the Caribbean craze, having something you can pass out multiple times in your live auction in under 3 minutes, of course, absolutely. And we can talk about fundraising, auctioneers, all that good stuff. Oh, thanks. I appreciate you, Christy. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Here's your invite as well before I call a winner to come next week. I completely unrelated, but I'm totally cool with it. We're having the DAF Guru on next Thursday, October 9th. It'll be 1 hour later, everybody. It just so happens October 9th, we have the most prolific mind in donor advised funds coming on this webinar on International DAF Day. I don't know how we got so lucky. Donor advised funds, what you need to know about them, how easy it is to receive donor advised funds on your organization's website, at your event, all that good stuff. Come and listen to that webinar. It is International DAF Day. The trend of folks granting money through their own DAFs is skyrocketing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll want to educate yourself about this. We're having, once again, Mitch Stein, the DAF Guru, is coming on the episode next week. So do us a favor, register for it when you get the invite. It'll come out probably Monday. And then share it with someone in your network, bring someone along, all good stuff. Yeah, really, really cool
she's
stuff.
learning so much. Thank you. And yes, please
Appreciate
invite
you.
people to come and learn more.
Yeah, it's like, once again,
right.
it's not auction related, but we're expanding our breadth of knowledge, as we always have, and learning alongside with you. So do us a favor, let's show Mitch Shine some love, and join next week, and we'll ask him a bunch of really cool questions, and you can too, about donor advised funds. So really fun stuff.
Trevor,
Okay, I'm calling a winner. I'm gonna quit rambling.
All right, hang on, turn your ringers on. Trevor's
Make sure you have your ringer on.
Are we ringing? Are we calling?
Hello. Who am I speaking with?
This is Shelly Lee.
Hey, Shelly Lee. You were in the chat today. How are you?
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no, you didn't win. I'm just calling to thank you. No, I'm just kidding. No, you won. You won the Caribbean Craze. Yeah.
No way.
Oh, yeah, sure did. Yeah. Well, hopefully that helps at your next event, and we can coach you up on how to sell it multiple times if you like, all that good stuff.
Yes, it'll be amazing.
Oh.
I'm so excited.
Oh, good. Well, then it worked. Then that was our intention, was to excite you, and to add to your day. Thank you so much for coming, and thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Thanks for all of your ideas and help. I mean, honestly, I just discovered you guys in the last few weeks, and I've been trying to listen to as many webinars, as I can. So thank you very much.
Well, listen,
I hope everyone can hear that. Thank you so much, Shelly. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, really cool. You can see, and this is a cool note to everybody. You can see all the previous recorded webinars on our YouTube channel. We got the Hey Nonprofits podcast, and I just was talking about, like, Mitch Stein coming on. We have the greatest minds in fundraising. We're so lucky, so fortunate to be able to do this. So thank you so much for coming. Yeah, I appreciate you, Shelly. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah.
Awesome.
And congratulations. Yeah. Have a great afternoon. We'll be in touch, okay?
Shelly. We'll start.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Shelly. Appreciate you. All right.
All right.
Hey, that was cool. All right. That's so fun. Everybody stayed too. Can't thank you all enough for staying, and can't thank you all enough for coming. Appreciate you. We're going to keep pumping out these awesome webinars. We've already done 200 plus of them or something, so grateful.
Different time next week.
1 hour later.
An hour later. Yep. We're an hour later next week.
Yep.
So
hey, Sandy, thanks a ton. Rhino, thanks a ton. Everybody, thank you. HGA team, thank you. We'll see you all next week. Enjoy your afternoon, and let's raise some more money. Really cool. Thank you, Sandy. All right.
Have a good one, guys.
See you all. Bye now.